All right, welcome back to the deep dive. And look, I have to start today with a bit of a confession.
Oh, okay. I'm listening.
I am just so exhausted by the phrase self-improvement.
Ha, you and me both.
I feel like I can't open my phone, scroll through social media, or even walk past a bookstore without someone telling me I need to optimize something.
It really is the buzzword of the decade, isn't it? We're in
Mhm.
this golden age of optimization.
It feels less like optimization and more like pressure,
Yeah.
Like it's this giant, never-ending to-do list that I'm already failing at.
That is such a valid way to feel. I think a lot of people are feeling that hustle culture fatigue. It turns self-improvement into a product rather than, a process.
Right, exactly. And that's why I wanted to do this deep dive. We're not looking at some influencer's morning routine. We're going to look at the medical and psychological foundations of this stuff.
Stripping away the hype.
Yes. Our mission today is to strip away the hype, get rid of the guilt, and figure out what actually improves our quality of life.
Moving from vibes to science.
Yeah.
I like it.
To guide us, we're diving into a really comprehensive breakdown from HaloDoc. It's titled Self-Improvement: Simple Tips to Become Better.
Right. And this was reviewed by Dr. Budianto in April 2025.
And I saw he has the credentials Mars after his name. I'm assuming that doesn't mean he's from the planet Mars.
No extraterrestrial doctors on the show today. It stands for a Master's in Hospital Administration.
Okay, so a systems level view of health.
Exactly. It means he's looking at well-being as a whole system, which is perfect for this topic. And this source pulls in some heavy hitters too, like the American Psychological Association, very well mined.
And James Clear, the habits guy. So we've got a lot to unpack.
We do. We're going to talk about what self-improvement actually is, the 5 pillars you need to balance, the math behind the 1% rule, and this is really crucial, the line between self-help and professional mental health care.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. Definitions.
Mm.
Because for me, self-improvement usually means something specific, like I want a promotion or I want to get fit.
Sure, but this source takes a much, much wider view. They define it as a continuous process.
A continuous process, so not a finish line.
Exactly. You never really arrive at improved and then you're done. It's a conscious and planned effort to develop your potential, your skills, your character.
Conscious and planned sounds like work.
It is work.
Yeah.
But the goal isn't just, a bigger paycheck. It's to become the best version of oneself and build a life that feels meaningful. It's about satisfaction, not just achievement.
No, that's a distinction I think I miss a lot. I treat it like a sprint. Once I achieve X, I'm done.
And that's the trap. It's more like gardening. You're never really done.
Yeah.
And if you only water one plant, the rest of the garden suffers.
Ah, which brings us to the holistic view you mentioned.
Right. The source pulls this from very well mined. You can't just focus on one thing. If you're the top performer at your job, but your relationships are a mess and you feel terrible, you're not actually improving.
They're just reallocating your energy.
You're just reallocating. Yeah, you need a full ecosystem approach.
Yeah.
We're talking skills, habits, mindset, health, and relationships.
Okay, before we dig into those pillars, let me just play devil advocate for a second.
Please do.
I'm busy, you're busy, everyone listening is busy. Why should I invest energy in this conscious, planned effort when just getting through the week is hard enough? What's the ROI?
It's the classic why bother question, and it's a good one. The source argues the return on investment is huge, and it shows up in some surprising ways. The first one is confidence.
Okay, is that just feeling good about yourself?
It's deeper. It's self-efficacy. When you learn something new or you break a bad habit, you're literally providing yourself with proof that you're capable.
So competence breeds confidence.
That's it, exactly. And that creates this positive feedback loop,
Yeah.
which connects right into the second benefit, stress reduction.
Now hold on. Adding a self-improvement plan to my life sounds more stressful, not less.
It sounds like it, right? But think about where stress comes from. A lot of it is feeling out of control or like you can't handle what life is throwing at you.
True.
Well, this process is all about developing better coping mechanisms, better emotional resilience. So when a crisis does hit, you have the tools to manage it. You're building a better shock absorber for your life.
A better shock absorber. I like that analogy. What else?
Well, they list productivity, of course, better focus and time management, and interestingly, relationships.
Relationships. I always figured self-improvement was a solo sport. Me alone with a book.
That's a common misconception. But when you improve your empathy, your communication, your conflicts with other people tend to go down. Your connections get deeper. You become a better friend, a better partner.
And I guess the ultimate payoff is just happiness.
Well, the source cites the American Psychological Association here. There is a deep psychological well-being that comes from maximizing your potential. It's not a bubbly, hyper kind of happiness. It's more like a deep satisfaction, a feeling that you're not stagnant.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. I want the shock absorbers and the deep satisfaction. But this is usually where I fall apart. I try to fix everything at once on a Monday morning.
The New Year's resolution trap.
Totally. By Wednesday, I'm just defeated. So how do we break this down without getting overwhelmed?
This is where the 5 pillars come in. The source says you don't tackle them all with the same intensity at the same time.
Yeah.
You just have to keep them all in view.
Okay, walk me through them. What's pillar number 1?
The first is emotional. This is all about understanding and managing your feelings.
So this is like, don't get angry.
No, not at all. Emotions are data. It's not about suppressing anger. It's about how you process it. It's about building empathy, not letting a temporary feeling lead to a permanent mistake.
Got it. Emotional intelligence. What's next?
Intellectual. Simply put, challenging your brain.
Does scrolling through the news count? Because my brain feels very challenged by that every day.
I think that's challenging your cortisol levels more than anything. This is about active engagement. Reading, taking a course, having a deep conversation, using your brain's neuroplasticity. Use it or lose it, basically.
Okay, use it or lose it. Pillar 3.
Social. And this goes right back to what we were saying about relationships. It's about actively improving your social skills to build meaningful connections.
Some people might hear that and think, why is social part of self-improvement? Shouldn't I just focus on me?
You know, that's a very modern Western idea. But humans are social creatures. We can't actually be our best selves in total isolation. Improving how you relate to others is one of the fastest ways to improve your own life.
Fair point. Okay, what's number 4?
Spiritual.
I have to admit, that word can make me tune out a little. I'm not a religious person.
And that's totally fine. The source is clear. This isn't necessarily about religion. It's about exploring life's meaning, your own personal values, connecting with something larger than your to-do list.
Oh, it's like your North Star.
That's a perfect way to put it. Without it, you're just getting really efficient at going nowhere. And finally, the 5th pillar, physical.
The kale smoothies and the early morning runs.
Diet, exercise, sleep, stress management. They list it last, but I like to think of it as the foundation.
The foundation.
Yeah, you can have the smartest brain and the best intentions. But if your body, the vehicle, is running on empty, you aren't going anywhere.
That makes total sense.
And they're all interconnected. If you're sleep deprived, which is physical, you'll be irritable. That's emotional. You won't focus intellectual. And you'll probably snap at someone. That's social.
It really is a house of cards.
It's a system.
Okay, so we have the system. We know the 5 pillars. Let's pivot to strategy, the how-to. Because knowing what to do is one thing, but actually doing it, that's another story.
Execution is everything. And this is where the source brings in James Clear and his book Atomic Habits.
I've heard the title a million times. What's the core idea we need?
The core idea is that we are all obsessed with the home run. We want to transform our lives overnight. And when we don't see massive results immediately, we quit.
Guilty.
So Clear proposes the 1% rule.
Okay, which is...
So just focus on getting 1% better every single day.
That sounds tiny, almost pointless.
It feels that way. But the math is staggering. If you get 1% better every day for a year, you end up 37 times better by the end of it.
Wait, 37 times better from 1%?
37 times? It's the magic of compounding. But here's the scary part. If you get 1% worse every day, you decline almost to 0.
Wow. Okay, that's a powerful idea.
It means the small choices really, really matter. You don't need to read a book a week. Just read 5 pages a day.
But the problem for me is, after 1 salad, I don't feel healthier. After 5 pages, I don't feel smarter. So my brain says, why bother?
That is what James Clear calls the valley of disappointment.
The valley of disappointment. I've lived there.
We all have. It's that gap where you're putting in the effort, but the results haven't shown up yet. It's like melting an ice cube. You raise the temperature from 25 degrees to 26, 27, 28. Nothing's happening.
Right, it's still ice.
It's still ice. You feel like you're wasting your energy.
Yeah.
But once you hit 32 degrees, everything changes. You have to stay in the game long enough to hit 32 degrees.
That's a great visual. It's about having faith in that lag time.
Exactly. And the source gives a few tips to get through that valley. Self-awareness is one. Another is learning from failure.
Ah, that's a big one.
Yeah, viewing a mistake as data, not as a character flaw.
Not a flaw. I like that.
And having a support system. Don't go it alone. Accountability is huge.
So let's talk about that maintenance phase. We've started, we're trying to survive the valley. How do we keep the momentum going?
Okay, 4 quick tips from the source.
Huh.
First, prioritize. You have to make time for this stuff. You'll never just find it.
Right, schedule it.
Second, track progress. Since you can't see the results at first, you have to track the effort. Just putting an X on a calendar feels good,
It really does. It's a little dopamine hit.
which leads to number 3. Celebrate. Reward yourself for small wins. It's not silly. It's neuroscience. You're training your brain to repeat the behavior.
So you're basically training yourself like a puppy.
We're all just very complicated puppies at the end of the day. And the last one is patience and flexibility. Life happens, you get sick, you have a bad day. The goal isn't perfection, it's just getting back on track.
Okay, I want to shift to something really important now. We've been talking about sadness, motivation, emotional regulation, words that also come up with mental health disorders. Where's the line?
This is a critical distinction, and I'm glad we're talking about it. Dr. Budianto's review is very clear on this. Self-improvement helps mental health, but it is not a substitute for medical care.
So reading a self-help book is not going to cure clinical depression.
Correct. Self-improvement can help build resilience. It's preventative. But if you are already in a state of illness, you need treatment, not just better habits. It's the difference between going to the gym to stay healthy and going to a surgeon for a broken bone.
So how does someone listening know which they need? What are the red flags?
The source lists some very specific signs. One is continuous feelings of sadness, emptiness, or anxiety that just don't lift no matter what you do.
Like when the blues just won't go away.
Exactly. Or if you're unable to cope with past trauma, if you find yourself in a pattern of unhealthy relationships, you can't seem to break. And a really big one is using alcohol or drugs to escape your feelings.
If someone is ticking those boxes as they listen, just trying harder is not the answer.
No. In fact, trying harder could make it worse because it adds a layer of feeling like you're failing at getting better. The answer is to seek professional help.
And the source mentions specific resources.
It does. For Indonesia, it mentions Ministry of Health Services and platforms like HaloDoc that offer 247 access to psychologists. But the message is universal. Help is available.
And reaching out for that help is, in itself, a huge act of self-improvement.
It might be the bravest step you can take.
So let's bring this all together. We've gone from the Instagram hustle to a much more holistic and, I think, gentler approach.
We defined it as a continuous process, a garden to tend, not a race to win.
We looked at the 5 pillars: emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual, and physical, and how they're all connected.
And we talked about the power of the 1% rule and surviving that valley of disappointment.
And we drew that really important line between self-help and mental health care. My biggest takeaway, I think, is that I need to stop trying to overhaul my entire life by next Tuesday.
That is the trap. So here's a final thought for you and for everyone listening, based on that 1% rule. We freeze because the mountain looks too high.
Yeah, that 37 times better feels impossible from here.
So stop looking at the mountain. Just look down at your feet. If you had to make one tiny, microscopic 1% improvement right now in the next 10 minutes, what would it be?
Maybe drinking a glass of water instead of reaching for another coffee.
Perfect. Or sending one text to a friend you miss. Or just taking 3 deep breaths before your next meeting.
Just one thing.
Just one thing. Because
Yeah.
that one thing is the start of the process. And then tomorrow, you just do it again.
I love that. Start small, forgive the stumbles, and just keep going. Listeners, we hope this gave you a few tools and maybe some permission to be a bit kinder to yourselves. Thanks for listening.
Take care of yourselves.